Virgo.
Hello Virgo, Happy New Year. This is your forecast for January 2014, and the year is starting off with a lot of energy right off the get-go. What we have for you here this year is not just the New Year intentions that we put out each and every year, which I think we all do, but this year is going to be a little bit more powerful. This is because the Sun and Pluto, Mercury, and Venus retrograde is all going to be here with you on this very day. This puts something in your life here to rest. It's as if you're making some major choices here that 2014 is going to become influenced by. As you go through this rebirthing here, I'm seeing that just here at the very end of December of 2013, there was situations that came to the forefront. You know, it really kind of like shook up the waters that you were in. And all through here, the last couple of months here of 2013, well, it had you analyzing, it had you thinking. It really had you trying to figure out what it is you really wanted and now what you definitely want this year to be. And 2014 will mark you in a very positive way. Once we get beyond shedding the shells, okay, it's like our exoskeleton here is peeling off layer by layer. Now, the area for you here this month is within the house of creativity, within the area of how you want to bring this about. What is it you want to express now? You know, there's like, right now you have the power to actually manifest all of those things that you have been using with your law of attraction here, because Pluto and the new moon and the sun are like this, okay? So it's cutting through to the core. And what it is you want to accept and bring with you into this year, you will. You know, all the good things will follow with you, even though you might see that these other things are splitting away. But Venus right now is in an extended stay here in the sign of Capricorn, which is a harmonious sister sign to yours. And Venus here will help you review those things important to you. Love and romance, it rules, the whole area rules love and romance, the 5th house. Venus also rules love and romance too. But the retrograde is more looking back over perhaps some of the traits, some of the patterns that you have come to notice as a journey through your life like this. You might say, you know what, I've visited or revisited that type of energy in the past. I'm not buying into that no more. It's out of my matrix, okay? This is what I want now. And in that, I'm thinking this Venus retrograde can become very powerful as a tool for you. Now, this area also rules children, what's going on with them. There might be changes in their lives here this month. And you also, you know, as a parent, perhaps coming in and needing to support them in the changes that they will be undergoing. We have Mars in your income house, so you're going to be looking over how to make your income and whether you can streamline it. Some of you might be crunching numbers, looking over your budgets, and not just perhaps just for here and now in January, but how you can perhaps maybe come to increase it here throughout the entire year. Now, you have this ability to really analyze well, but I see that you did that more on the November-December side than necessarily what you're going to be doing here now in January. But this is the time it's going to behoove you for what it was you were actually planning here a couple of months ago. So we have also Saturn, 3rd house for communication and those things that you want to communicate with depth and a sense of know-how and authority. You're coming across pretty strong, Virgo, now. Talk about coming into your own, no matter what age you are, but it's more like standing your ground, being proud of, presenting what it is you feel, think, have opinions about, and people are listening to you in a good way. And this is now the feeling of accumulating the journey of what this last year, year and a half has given you thus far, right? And we have 10 degrees more to go of Saturn here touring the sign of Scorpio in this 3rd house of yours. So the last third will indicate you initiated on the first third, the first 10 degrees, then you started to test them out. You know, am I doing it right? What am I gaining? What am I losing? And then now the last third is more like, okay, preparing for exam. Okay, now you're going to start launching what you have been working for the last year and a half. So this should be exciting here for you. We do have Neptune still in your love and relationship house as far as committed partners. You are looking at something now that is a little bit clearer, maybe, just because now Neptune is going to be going direct, so you won't have the same, what should I say, hazy, muddled feeling. Some of you lost perhaps a little bit of your navigation here earlier when Neptune went retrograde, and that's easy to do because it kind of rules our intuitive inner compass. So if you felt that something was like a little bit out of tune, well, that's coming back in, and you'll see how you're going to be grasping more of a solidness towards it, where you can now visualize and see where you're heading while you're implementing these wonderful Neptunian qualities. Only thing we always want to be careful with Neptune, whether it is direct or retrograde, is that we stay real about it, that we don't get all these unrealistic hope and expectations, because whenever we go there, we set ourselves up for disappointments too, right? So keep it real. Then we have here also top of the month. Let's start there so I can give you a few dates. Here, January 1st, Pluto and the Sun and the new moon, they're all conjunct. So it's smack full of power and the power of transformation. You'll see how this is going to influence you in a long time to come. And this has probably been a little bit of a few days here end of December, giving you a little, I won't say necessarily an uneasy feeling, but there could have been some power struggles around you. This is also due to Mars being opposed Uranus. And for you, these energies are between your 2nd and 8th house. So some of these power struggles and uneasiness might have come from the area of income, money, and so forth. Or somebody wanting something from you there, right? And the Sun, that's you kind of standing up against Mars and saying, it's enough already. I'm not quite sure if this is what I want to do. So you'll just have to see what that means for you. But January 6th and 7th, it's like whatever came to a little head there will have the power to now discuss and heal itself. This is Mercury now communicating with Saturn, grounding it. Mercury being in the 5th house, this could pertain perhaps to one of your children, Virgo. Grounding it and you explaining why the reaction was the way it was, and it's also being received. Now they're listening. They might not have been listening there on New Year's, but they're listening now to what you have to say, okay? And it's also good and it's healing for you as well. Then we have January 8th, a little test here. Now this comes more from the area of friends rather than anywhere else in your chart. I see Mars here is going to feel a little, what should I say, testing you as to where you stand as far as your own sense of self, your sense of self-esteem, the values that you represent. So there might be a situation now, I won't say thrown at you, but maybe posed to you. And now what does Mars want to do? And see, Mars for you is in that 2nd house of self-esteem, and Jupiter here is in the 11th house. And so maybe something's going to expand here in this area. It might even be friends far away, since Jupiter is here in the 11th house. There might be a small delay. Maybe there's talk about joining, getting together, going somewhere, doing something, and then here it might not come together due to financial situations, at least for now. But I'm seeing here already just the next couple of days some solution being found to it, where both you and whoever was involved is happy with whatever solution that you found. Venus here is sextile to Saturn, so Venus is love, it's resources, it's coming together. Maybe what you felt that you were lacking can now come in from an external source to kind of support that up. Then I'm seeing excitement kicking in. That is the Sun and Venus. The Sun is you, Venus is what you love. It's all of those beautiful things now coming together, and then an agreement really, you know, written in stone. That's January 11th. So don't let January 8th, you know, ruffle your feathers a little too much here. Now on the 11th, Mercury is going to be moving out of this area, the 5th house, moving into your 6th house of more day-to-day routines. Okay, so it's leaving that area that was around New Year's Eve, and it's now streamlining a little bit more how you can create a better flow in your day-to-day work. The Sun is going to join up with Mercury a little bit later here on January 20th. So the two of them are going to be compatible. They're going to be working and be helping you to become perhaps a little bit more efficient. Now, the 6th house is also your health, your diet, working out, getting back into shape, making those commitments to yourself. So you'll see how that is going to really take up that, especially last part of January. But let's look at January 16th and 17th. If you go back to October, first week, if I recall, October, we had a square between Mars and Venus, okay? So there might have been some disagreements, something not really gelling. You wanted this in this direction, and maybe your partner wanted it this in that direction. Whatever that theme was, it can become revisited here on the 16th, just, you know, so the universe can test you to see how far have you evolved since back then. Did you deal with it? Well, then that's fine. Did you sweep it under the carpet? Well, here we go again. Here's the issue resurrecting again, right? So depending on how you've lived with that square back in October, that will determine the outcome here on the 16th. But on the 17th, Mercury, communication, is having some great communication with Uranus, which is going to turn things around positively. Great news on the 17th. There might even be something out of the blue for you, which is that unexpected quality and trait that we love about Uranus. Then we have, closer to the end of the month, we have Mercury and Mars trine. So that's the energy of communication, your actions, your goal, your drive, your desire, really coming together here and just powering you in the direction that you're now aiming towards. That would be you on your day-to-day basis, looking at your income stream, your self-esteem, the values that you hold, what is important to you, really getting them together and now putting that out there. And so feeling good about it, and also you sharing it. I see you communicating that, hey, this is working for me. Why don't you try this out? Maybe you stumbled upon something of maybe some minerals, vitamins, diet thing that you've been doing here now for a couple of weeks, and then seeing it working, and then I see you all chatty about it. End of the month is looking pretty good. Another surprise here on the 29th. That is the Sun, that is you, getting some unexpected surprise from Uranus. Just like the news you had from Mercury here from Uranus, that was on the 17th. Here we go on the 29th. And it's coming from shared resources. So meaning maybe it is a payout, maybe it is some extra income, maybe it is some investment or royalties that you may be getting, but it's coming here from the 8th to the 6th house. So I think that's something you're just going to absolutely embrace and be happy for. Then we also want to go back to probably Jupiter and Pluto opposition. We had that a little earlier. I think we need to go back to August. Decision time making back then. What was the theme, the issue, the problem, or the project at hand? Now, at the time you were wanting to expand, and Pluto's saying, yes, you can do that, because Jupiter was moving direct. It was growing, it was expanding. But in order to grow and expand, for you, this will be between the 11th house, the 5th house. So that's children on one hand, creativity and projects that you're affiliated with. And then here we have Jupiter up here in the 11th house for hopes, dreams, friendships, expanding that area. So for you, it's like, can you make some major decision? How can you grow and expand without having to crash something, you know, let go of something? But then Pluto is saying is, you have to let go of something in order to get beyond where you are. So you might not have found the solution to that quite yet, because it was in a forward motion. Your mind was expanding, trying to figure it out. Now it's retrograde and coming back over that point so that you can have a second chance to now ground it. You know, go a little deeper. Try to see if there's some solutions you didn't think about in August. And so you're going to be working on that a little bit until Jupiter turns around, which is not going to be before springtime. But by spring, Jupiter is going to turn around and it's going to pass this point again. So at least by then, you will have found exactly where you're heading and what to do in this specific situation. So it's between your creativity, your hopes and dreams, love and romance. It may also have to do with foreign people, cultures, because it's Jupiter, and it might be perhaps even wanting to relocate at a distant place, but then what do you do with the children? That might be what that is. You will know by spring, but yes, you are going to revisit this, and especially from January 31st, but it's going to linger for, you know, a few days and a couple of weeks, so it's not just a day transit. It's going to last there. And then we also end it by Mercury, which has worked on your day-to-day consciousness for health, working out, streamlining your daily routines, moving into partnerships and relationships, and thinking about Mercury moving in here right now as Jupiter and Uranus, no, Jupiter and Pluto opposites each other. Well, I'm kind of thinking this whole Jupiter-Plutonian thing that you have to do is all about love and romance, and maybe a relocation thought coming in, okay? So, perhaps. Anyhow, this is what we have for you, Virgo, this month. So definitely do go listen to your moon and rising sign and come back and follow us on your next month's forecast for February. And it's good to see you. Bye now.